Hi, I'm Natalie from the Felicity Branch, and I'm glad you've joined me today. What I'm going to do is do a session on what I'm calling scrap gardening. Now, we're not going to be gardening scraps. What we're going to do is I'm going to give you some ideas for taking kitchen scraps and gardening with them, growing new plants from scraps, in other words. And I don't know about you, but already on Friday I was out in my garden and I picked all of my tomatoes, and I'm already starting to miss the garden. I went out this morning and I had basil that was still growing as of the weekend. It is totally shot. So I'm already thinking about, oh my gosh, time to put the garden to bed. What am I going to do? I love to garden so much. This is kind of a fun project, if you like growing things like I do, that you can do all winter long, just to kind of keep you in green growing plants. It's also a wonderful STEM activity for kids, and it can easily be adapted, I think, for science fair projects. So there's all kinds of possibilities here to get you growing throughout the winter and keep you going until you can get out into the garden again. So I'm a big fan of the avocado. So this is kind of a fun project here that we're going to do. I'm going to talk to you about doing avocado. Ginger root, I'm going to talk about how to propagate ginger root, and then also carrots. Okay, so some of these things are probably things maybe you can remember doing as a kid. If not, I hope you enjoy this. So I'm going to start out with the carrots. So with the carrots, what you want to do, and this is so easy, you want to just cut off the top couple of inches of a carrot. It's going to go into a bowl of water. Can also go into dirt, actually. And I've got some pebbles in there, and we've got some water in there already. You're going to fill it up with just a little bit more water and a few more rocks just to kind of hold those guys in place. And the cool thing about this is you're going to end up with a beautiful ferny top that grows out of these carrots. So you're not growing it to eat more carrots, but the tops of those carrots are edible. So you can kind of use those like you do parsley, totally edible, and so there you go. And it's just a pretty plant, and if you're very lucky, you might get some flower shoots that come off that as well. So that's all there is to doing carrots. So that's a fun little project. So I'm going to move on to, and of course that's a root vegetable. So we've got root vegetable. This is ginger, which is a rhizome. So it's grown from underground roots. And so what you want to do is just take a piece of ginger, an inch or two, and what you're going to see are these little nodes here, just kind of like a potato has an eye, and that's where you're going to get new growth from. With ginger, it's going to be these little nodes, okay? So I don't know if you've ever purchased ginger at the store. It doesn't have a real long shelf life. You can freeze it, and then you'll have it for longer, which is good. But you know, this is a fairly good sized root here, so I did buy some for saving and then some for growing. So what you'll want to do, you'll want to let this dry out for about a day or so before you decide to propagate it. So you're going to let it dry, it'll kind of heal up a little bit, and then you can see there's actually an eye right here, a little node there, and there's a little node there. So what you'll do after it's dried for about a day is you're going to, we're going to pretend it has dirt in it, potting soil. You're going to put this in your potting soil. You're going to add more, and you're going to leave a little bit sticking up at the top, okay? And so what's going to happen after a few weeks is you're going to get some beautiful stems that are going to be growing in about 1 to 2 months. And so what will happen once that gets very established, what you can do is you can pull that up gently, pull your plant up, and you'll be able to harvest off the root that's planted down in the ground, okay? And so that's all there is to doing ginger, okay? That's a fun one to do. That can also be planted outside in the summer, and you'll get a fairly decent plant, so that might have you in ginger for quite a while, and that'll be a good thing. All right, now I'm going to move on to one of my favorite things to do. I'm a big fan of the avocado, okay? So what I've done, especially over these last few months, not only have I eaten more avocado, but I have pits that I have saved and are in all different various stages of propagation. Okay, so this is what a lot of people will tell you to do. If you want to start an avocado, you're going to take the pit that's inside, okay, and there is an up and a down to the avocado pit. You're going to see underneath, you got a little bit of a, oh, it almost looks kind of like a buckeye, a little spot on the bottom. It's a little flatter. The top part is pointed. That is the top part of your avocado pit. So people will say, well, what you need to do is you need to stick toothpicks in it and suspend it in water, and that's how it'll root for you. Well, I can tell you that this has been in water for at least 3 months and I've got nothing. So what I have found in the past is, and I'm going to cut this one up just to be sure, what I have found in the past is sometimes the seeds aren't viable, just like with anything else. And so just being curious, I've gone in. So you can see that seed wasn't viable. It was never going to sprout, okay? So I had a suspicion about that. Well, what I have found is it's much quicker, it's much easier, and you're gonna get a great crop of pits ready to be planted is if you take a damp paper towel. You're going to clean off the pit, obviously. So you want to make sure you get all the meat of the avocado off and that it's nice and clean. And then you're going to take paper towels and you're going to wet them. And so this one's ready to plant. I've been checking on this. I've had these going for about 2 months. So about a month ago, I opened it up and I'm like, oh my gosh, that guy is ready to be planted, but I wanted to wait until I had this session so I could show you what that looks like. So there's one. Here's another one that's nothing but roots. You can see how it's split open. You can see inside there the potential plant. So there's a second one. I'm going to have a bumper crop of avocados. Now, as far as growing them for fruit, it takes an avocado plant a good 6 to 7 years to mature, and obviously we're not in the right area of the country to be growing avocados, but for house plants, it's a fun project. Here's another one with roots, and you can look in there and see that plant. So these are all, I have a feeling I know what I'm going to be doing tonight when I go home, is I'm going to be planting these up. And here's my last one. Okay, and again, these just, to me, grow the best roots that I've ever seen. I've had success growing this way. This is the most successful way I've found. So these are some plants here that are also in various stages of growth. So this one's been growing the longest. Here's the next one, and then we've got this one with a little bud on it here, and this has got another little shoot on it here. So this is my pride and joy right here. So here's what I've found. You're gonna have books that are going to tell you, first of all, they're going to tell you to use the water and toothpick method. So now I've pretty much just proven that is the best way to do it. I've got some really good books here that I found at the library. This is one that's really good. And here's another one that's really good that talks about these other methods of growing avocado. What you're going to find, that old advice about growing in water, is they're also going to tell you that you need to prune these plants. So you can see how this one's pretty long and spindly, as is this one. Could also maybe be the variety of avocado, I'm not sure. This one is really thick. This is the best avocado plant that I have ever grown from an avocado pit. I am so proud of this thing. What I normally would do, they tell you, wait till it's about 6 to 8 inches tall, wait until you have 6 full leaves on it, and then you want to cut it back. I've not done that with any of these. Okay, so I have let this one grow. It has not been pruned at all, and it looks great. All right, what I might do with these, because they're a little bit spindly, is I may decide to go ahead and trim those just for my ongoing avocado experiment at home and see what happens. But this, like I said, I am so proud of this. This is the best avocado that I have ever grown. So I hope that you find this as entertaining and fun as I do. If you are interested, again, we have all kinds of great books at the library on how to grow things like this. We've got opportunities for science fairs, which would be so fun. And of course, we've always got more programs that we like to offer. So hopefully I've whetted your appetite for kitchen scrap gardening, and this is something that you may want to do at home. So thanks for joining me today.